And I think it's very important for everybody to be engaged because that everybody's on the same page.
It's about, who's willing to change gears at the right time.
Go out, go have fun, and just take it to them.
For Wheeling University Athletics, I'm Zach Ziegler. It's time for another edition of the Ben Healy Show. Currently joined by Wheeling University head track and field coach Ben Healy. And Ben, guys, coming off another nice performance at the Tim Weaver Invitational. Talk about that performance overall and what you saw.
Yeah, it was good. It was a tough meet with the weather. It was quite cold, a long day. Sun came out, but it was really windy on the hill, so it really never warmed up. But so for us to still do, perform how we did and everything, just battle that day in that sense and have those performances, just another confidence booster for early in the season. And, when we get nice weather, hopefully at conference end of this month and everything, or I guess next month, should be really good and exciting and everything.
And you guys continued your growth out there. You had 2 more individual event championships, which we'll get to in a minute. Saw a bunch more PRs. Talk about the growth from meet 1 to meet 2 and kind of what you saw from your athletes.
Yeah, a lot of the growth, those athletes who are in the same events, are just trusting the process and kind of getting the dust shaken off in the first meet and everything in this meet, attacking it, especially being against West Lib and some other conference schools, really just getting after it this second meet now and everything.
And on the men's side, Felix Magnani continues his success, wins the javelin for the second week in a row. Talk about that and kind of how it gets your men started getting that championship on day 1.
Yeah, again, Felix has a great energy and he just, brings a lot to the team. So having that performance on day 1, brings the team, gets the team ready for, exciting day 2 and everything where the rest of the events are.
And Madison Carbrat, she competes in the Elite 1500, gets a 3rd place finish, follows it up with a 1st place finish on Saturday. Talk about her and how she's kind of leading that distance group.
Yeah, she's a very hardworking girl and everything. She when she has her mind set on something, she's going to do it and she's going to execute it well. Her idea was to do the double, the 15 day 1 and the 5K day 2. We had a conversation, with some concerns, but also with, the ideas that she could do good things if she executes it well. And, getting into that 15, still have some, some work to do on her top end speed and everything just in the 15. But, for where she's at, she's in a really good spot. Coming back day 2 and getting ready for the, for the 5K, after, a day of running the 15, having some dead in her legs, she just is, was ready to attack it. She went out and raced her race and really took it by the horns and attacked it. So.
Currently joined by Wheeling University head track and field coach Ben Healy. And Ben, another event we saw debut in outdoor was the multi. Fen Seenart competing in that for you guys, finished 2nd overall. Talk about her going into that multi event and how she was able to succeed.
Yeah, Fen's coming off of a little ankle issue we had through the indoor season, bone bruise and everything, right on the ankle foot. And so it's been really tough. We haven't really been able to get a lot of full practices with some of these events and everything. So we went into it with the idea that this is going to be, a meet where we first test how her ankle is doing and everything as we're this far into her recovery. And thank God, it held up really well. And she actually feels really healthy. So one, that just tells us she's ready for, to get back into it fully. But 2, kind of attacking it in the sense of, getting a mark for conference in this sense and then putting down that big mark at conference and everything, using it as a marker for where we're at in each event and everything.
And you guys heading into this Cherry Blossom Invitational, your 2nd D1 meet of the year. Talk about facing these D1 teams at Ohio University and kind of what that does for these young athletes seeing that talent.
Yeah, it's really nice, having track and field being one of those sports where division at regular meets isn't really a thing you're worried about. It gives these athletes the opportunity to really compete against high-level, high-caliber athletes because we do have high-caliber athletes here, and they are very competitive. So, going against those teams, it's just keeping it in mind for our athletes that, hey, we deserve to be there and we can be competitive and everything. And, after the indoor season, going up against a lot of those D1 schools a lot, I think they've got their confidence up and they're ready for the meet.
And finally, give us a little bit of rundown of the stadium you guys are competing in, some of the elements you'll compete this weekend, and some of the keys for success.
Yeah, the stadium, I've never been to OU, so we'll see what that looks like and everything. But, looking at Google Maps, the throws are all together, which is really nice for my grad assistant coach. He won't be running around. It'll be nicer for our throwers to be kind of collected in the same spot and really just be able to support each other as well. That's not far away from the track. So our sprinters, jumpers, our runners, when they're not competing, they'll be able to go support the throws as well. The jumps are pretty much located on or just outside of the track as well. Again, gives us as a coaching staff, the ability to be close to every event, as well as support the runners. And they could come out and, chat with me about their race plan or whatever before their race, after their race and everything. So the stadium's really nice. Weather, it's looking warmer than it did last week, which is really nice. It might be a little wet still, but, we'll deal with that as it comes. It's outdoor track, so the elements are going to be part of it. But we've been outside practicing in weather, as much as we can all year and everything. So the team should be ready for it. Yeah, man.
Thanks, Ben. Good luck this week. Can't wait to see you out there.
Perfect. Thanks, Zach.
For Wheeling University Athletics, I'm Zach Ziegler.
And I think it's very important for everybody to be engaged because that everybody's on the same page.
It's about, who's willing to change gears at the right time.
Go out, go have fun, and just take it to them.